Hello students, today we'll see the fifth unit in history, that is social and religious reform movements in the 19th century. So in the 19th century, there are some movements are created, some movements are formed to make a change. Reform means change, to make a change in the society and religion. So now we are going to see about the movements which are formed to create a change in the society and religion. Introduction. English education introduced with the object of producing clerks also produced a new English educated middle class. This class came under the influence of Western ideas and thoughts. Christianity also had its effect on the newly emerging middle class. Though small in number, the educated middle class began to take a lead in political as well as in reform movements. The Indian reformers were, however, quite hesitant to subject their old notions and habits to critical scrutiny. Instead, they attempted to harmonize both Indian and Western cultures. Their ideas and their actions helped to mitigate social evils such as sati, female infanticide, and child marriage, and various superstitious beliefs. In the 19th century, the English education is introduced. So what is the motive of English education to be introduced in 19th century is they want to produce the clerks, but it also produced a English educated middle class people. So this middle class people, they are influenced by the Western ideas and thoughts. So only few people are educated, only few middle class people are educated. So they are few in numbers, but they started to take a leading position in political as well as in reform movements. So the Indian reformers, what do you mean by reformers? The people who are trying to change something. So the Indian reformers, they hesitate to subject their old habits. So what they did instead of that, they tried to combine both the Indian and the Western cultures. So they hesitate to subject their old habits and notions. So instead of that, what the educated middle class people are doing, they have combined both the Indian and the Western cultures. So their ideas and the actions made by them, so it helped to mitigate means abolish, okay, mitigate to abolish or to stop. So it helped to stop the social evils such as sati, female infanticide, and child marriage, and various superstitious beliefs. What do you mean by sati? So sati means a widow. After his husband's death, she was forced to burn herself to death. Okay, so that is known as sati. And female infanticide means, so they are forced to kill the infant female child, no? So that is called female infanticide. And child marriage, you know, right? And various superstitious beliefs. What do you mean by superstitious? So it means we'll call it as moodanambikai, right? So superstitious beliefs. So these systems should be abolished. So these are all the ideas and the actions that are taken by the Indian reformers. The reform movements of 19th century in the realm of religion fall under two broad categories. Reformist movements like the Brahmo Samaj, the Prarthana Samaj, and the Aligarh movement, and the revivalist movements such as the Arya Samaj, the Ramakrishna Mission, and the Deoband movement. There were also attempts to challenge the oppressive social structure by Jyotiba Phule in Pune, Narayana Guru and Ayankali in Kerala, and Ramalinga Adigal and Ayodhi Dasar of Tamil Nadu. So the reform movements in the 19th century are categorized into two. They are the reformist movement and the revivalist movements. The reformist movements are Brahmo Samaj, Pratna Samaj and Aligarh movement. The revivalist movements, so they are Arya Samaj, Ramakrishna Mission and the Deoband movement. So apart from this, some individual persons, so they also started some reform actions. So they are Jyotiba Phule in Pune, Narayana Guru and Ayyankali in Kerala, Ramalinga Adigal and Ayodhya Dasar of Tamil Nadu. Early reform movements in Bengal. Rajaram Mohan Roy and Brahmo Samaj. Ram Mohan Roy was one of the earlier reformers influenced by the Western ideas to initiate reforms. He was a great scholar, well versed in Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian and English apart from his knowledge in his mother tongue Bengali. Ram Mohan Roy was opposed to meaningless religious ceremonies and all forms of pernicious social customs. Yet he wanted to preserve continuity with the past. In his religio-philosophical social outlook, he was deeply influenced by monotheism and anti-idolatry. Based on his interpretation of the Upanishads, he argued that all the ancient texts of the Hindus preached monotheism or worship of one god. So now we are going to see about the early reform movements which happens in Bengal. So the first one is Rajaram Mohan Roy and his Brahmo Samaj. He was one of the earlier reformer. He belongs to Bengal. His mother tongue is Bengali. So he know all other languages apart from his mother tongue, that is Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian and English. So apart from his mother tongue, he know these four languages. So he was against to some meaningless religious ceremonies, and also he was influenced by the policy of monotheism and anti-idolatry. So monotheism means worship of one god and anti-idolatry means they should not worship the god with any image. Okay, so based on his explanation of the Upanishads means Upanishadங்கள், clear? So based on his explanation of the Upanishads, he argued that all the ancient, that is all the old books and text, so it tells that they should worship of one god. Deeply concerned with the prevailing customs of sati, child marriage and polygamy, he published tracts against them and petitioned the government to legislate against them. He advocated the rights of widows to remarry. He wanted polygamy to end. He appealed to reason and humanity and compassion of the people. His campaign played a key role in forcing the Governor General William Bentinck's legislation abolishing sati in 1829. So Rajaram Mohan Roy was against with this system of sati, child marriage and polygamy. So we know what is sati and child marriage, right? Then what is polygamy? So polygamy means marrying multiple spouses. So they are having more than one wife or one husband at the same time. That is known as polygamy. So he was against them and he petitioned the government to make a law against these policies. So he advised to make a right of widows to get remarried, and also he wanted the polygamy to came to an end, and then he wanted the people to be in humanity and compassion. So with his effort in 1829, the Governor General, his name is William Bentinck, he created a law which is abolishing the sati. So he played a prominent role in abolishing sati. Ram Mohan Roy condemned the subjugation of women and opposed the prevailing ideas that women were inferior to men. He strongly advocated education for women. He gave his full support for the introduction of English language and Western sciences in schools and colleges. In olden days, many restrictions were made for women, and then women are treated very badly. As they are treated, they were inferior to men. So Rajaram Mohan Roy was against all these, and also he advised the education for women. So he wanted the women also to be treated equally to the men. He gave his support to the introduction of English language in schools and the Western sciences in schools and colleges. Ram Mohan Roy founded the Brahma Samaj on 20 August 1828. He opened a temple in Calcutta where there was no image. There he laid down that no religion should be reviled or slightly or contemptuously spoken of or alluded to. The Samaj forbade idol worship and condemned meaningless religious rites and ceremonies. However, from the beginning, the appeal of the Brahmo Samaj remained limited to the intellectuals and enlightened Bengalis. Though the Samaj failed to attract the people from the lower section of society, its impact on the culture of modern Bengal and its middle class was quite significant. So Rajaram Mohan Roy founded a Brahma Samaj on 20 August 1828. So he opened the temple in Calcutta. So where there was no image. So there is a temple with no image. Okay. So what he written there is they should not speak any religion disrespectedly. So contemptuously means disrespected. So no one should speak any religion disrespectedly. So this is strictly followed by him. And then the Samaj, the Brahma Samaj is against the anti-idolatry. That is, idol worship means anti-idolatry. And then it's against the meaningless religious ceremonies. So this thing we have learned before, right? So the Samaj is also against these two things. So the Brahma Samaj remained limited to the intellectuals and enlightened Bengalis. So this Brahma Samaj from the beginning itself, it has limited to the intellectuals. Intellectuals means the people who are brilliant and enlightened Bengalis. So literate Bengalis. What do you mean by literate? Literate means the people who has education knowledge. Okay. So this Samaj is failed to attract the lower section people, but also it creates its impact on the culture of modern Bengal.